amount, and then all of a sudden they're a little bit more assertive in their lives. They're not passive. They're happier with their lives. They have more energy from that alone. So women really need a little bit of testosterone also, but again, they have to be carefully measured for this. They can't just walk into the office without being measured and then expect the physician to give them the right dosage.
And I noticed also you put in your book sometimes 5 milligrams even of a gel. A daily gel.
Some women need a little bit higher than that. I'm just saying that hypothetically. I mean, again, you have to measure this. It's all a matter of measurement to get the right amount. You can't assume anything, and it's very easily that you overdose with hormones or you underdose. And again, you mentioned 6 years ago or 7 years ago where physicians were just handing out high-dose DHEA.
Actually, yeah, at that point it was a low dose.
I mean, that's what we thought at that time. 7 years ago, we thought in women that's the right way to do it. But now we have different thinking on that.
I hear you. What about in the anti-aging context? Is it true that, for example, DHEA in women, which I know you said is more complex and that's why things have to be measured and balanced specifically, doesn't DHEA and testosterone potentially translate into too much estrogen?
Oh, yeah, and that's one reason why that both men and women should be taking another substance along with them called DIM. It's called DIM, D-I-M, and then that helps the women to better regulate their estrogens and men to prevent the testosterone from converting into the DHT.
Okay. Now, you have also written extensively on issues that you have with radiation and that we as a public take radiation much too passively, like when we go to our dentist and we get radiated and we go in for other types of tests and we get radiation. For example, I don't take mammograms. I have thermograms. What's your take on that?
I'm totally against radiation unless it's an emergency. Unless you have a dental emergency or whatever your emergency is, you shouldn't be using radiation. In fact, there's a correlation that during the last 20 years, the radiation from medical devices has more than doubled, and then cancer from those cells that normally experience radiation, that is more than doubled. So there is a correlation between that and the rise of cancer and use of radiation, I think unnecessarily, because it's promoted as, for example, the dentists promote this as a routine dental X-ray. Well, most of the time you don't need that. In fact, dentists admit, if you ask them, that they can't even see if you a cavity under a tooth with a dental X-ray. So that you're better off not to have, to say no to these dentists who want to give you a routine dental X-ray.
What do you think about once every 5 years?
No, I think only when you have an emergency. When you have some medical emergency, you have severe gingivitis, you have wisdom teeth that are acting up, then you need it. And as one dentist told me, you don't have to X-ray all 5 different X-rays around the side of the mouth. You can take a global picture of the entire mouth in one shot that gives you most details except for some of the backs or where the molars are. And you don't need that. And also, this is one thing that dentists, if you ask them this, they will realize you're right, is that when they get these new dental X-ray machines, they don't set them at the lowest setting that allows a clear picture. They just set them at any old factory setting they arrive at, and so you're actually getting too much radiation, and they don't need that level of resolution, of picture resolution. They could set it at a lower level of picture resolution, and you get less radiation at a lower level, and they don't usually do that unless you ask them to, unless you're really forceful in having them adjust the dosage that they're getting.
They've been doing a lot of things that are routine that they don't think twice about, many of them.
They've been taught at dental school that everybody should have a routine dental X-ray, and then they get their $75 for this. And several times I've said to dentists, look, why don't I just give you the $75 as an extra fee, and we'll pretend that I had an X-ray.
What do they say?
They're all huffy about this, but then they see what I mean subtly. Subtly, I mean that they just want to collect the fees because that's what they've been taught to do. They don't really need to have all these dental X-rays.
How do you feel about what's going on at the airports?
It's unfortunate that people are being irradiated, but you can demand a physical examination instead of the that whole body scan they're doing,
right?
And they have to do that, and of course that makes some people uncomfortable to have a physical examination by these TSA people.
Let's talk about the marine fresh fish that you're recommending in the book. Many people are taking omega-3s and omega-6s. Some are taking flax seeds. Some are taking flaxseed oils. But you're very specific about taking omega-3 fatty acids from mercury-free fish. Good luck with that. How do you find that?
It's very simple. You only buy. You can buy this from Costco. You can buy this from Whole Foods. You only buy fish that comes from, it's freshwater fish from Canada or Alaska. And Costco and Whole Foods, they sell these products. If you buy fish they're Atlantic fish, there's going to be some mercury in it. Any fish from an industrial area. If another type of fish, Chilean fish, fresh Chilean fish or frozen Chilean fish, that's relatively mercury free. In Hawaii here, I live in Hawaii, we get some frozen ahi that comes in from Taiwan that has a little bit of cadmium in it. You see, and it's very cheap. I mean, you can from a food stand, for $2 you can get some ahi, but then you know that along with the low price, you're getting some heavy metals along with it. So it's really worth only to buy the fish that's freshwater from Canada or Alaska.
And what if people don't want to eat the fish, but they'll take a special omega-3 fatty acid fish oils or krill?
Well,
what do you recommend?
That is good. I mean, the manufacturers of the fish oil capsules will say that it is as good, but it isn't, because really with the capsules you're only getting one or a couple of oils of the essential oils, like the DHEA, for example. But if you eat the whole fish, there's 40 different oils in the whole fish. In salmon, and some of these fish that I like, there's 40 different oils plus selenium, you see. So it's really nature's way. Nature provided these fish with 40 different oils plus selenium to sustain us, and it's really not enough. Unless you absolutely hate fish, it's worth eating the fish, and which is the essential basis of the Mediterranean diet, is to eat fish and get a rich diet of omega-3s, especially from salmon.
You talked about somebody that you knew in the book who takes the oil. What is the name of the oil? It's Nordic.
There's a Norwegian salmon oil capsules.
Right.
Those are good, but again, it's much better to eat the fish itself that has the 40 different oils plus the selenium. You
write a lot about exercise. And some of it in the book, I got a little bit confused. And
I didn't write anything about it. The title of the book is Stay 40 Without Diet or Exercise.
Right, but you wrote a little bit
about exercise.
Right.
Because that's this topic in itself. But essentially, what I'm saying is for Americans to do like, I know most Americans are not going to go to the gym. I know this. I don't like the gym myself, but Americans can do what Japanese and what Europeans do, and that's walk several hours a day. And so most Americans should be walking several hours a day to be leaner, and have better cardiovascular, like Japanese, like Europeans are doing, have always done. And Americans used to exercise more. I mean, they used to be more physically active and less couch potato-like, and so that's what I'm really advising. And the Americans that are older, that can't walk anymore, then they need to be in the pool an hour or two a day. If you can't walk hardly anymore, you really need to be in the pool, kicking your legs and using your legs in the pool. And that you can do that if you have various neuropathies and have difficulty walking.
What do you think of interval training?
Interval training's all right. Interval training's all right, but the problem with interval training, I've seen that, I've done that myself, and the problem is you put a lot of pressure on your joints, and if you're over 45 or 50, you're putting a lot of weight on your joints and your feet that's hard on you, that's hard on your body. It's hard mechanical wear on your joints and feet with some of this interval training that I've seen.
There's a lot of research done that you can increase your growth hormone level by 450% by doing interval training no more than 20 minutes a day. What does that sound like to you?
If you're under 45.
Pardon me?
And if everything is contingent upon being